So I came up with 10 questions, and feel free to deep dive in these questions because we're going to use them as conversation pieces, right? First question. Are the number one seed Jazz for real?
I think so. I mean, we're a third of the way through the season. We're what are they, like 20-5, I think? Like
yes.
9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah. And a game ahead of the Lakers.
I don't think
it gets much realer than that. I think they're for real. Do I think they're going to the finals? No. Do I think they'll be in the Western Conference Finals? I think it'd be them or the Clippers against the Lakers. I think the Lakers will eventually swoop and take the 1 seed, but being the 2 seed in the West, or maybe even the 3. But I think they're for real, and they're a Western Conference contender for the Lakers. I just don't think anyone's beating the Lakers in a 7-game series.
Well, when they went on their, why they went on that big winning streak, though, right?
About to say something foolish.
Shaq.
Don't say Shaq.
Yeah,
they were already winning before Shaq said the stupidness he said.
Well, Shaq said they started winning because of him, because he Jedi mind tricked Donovan Mitchell to bring his game up to the next level. That's what he was doing. He was Jedi mind tricking Mitchell to get better.
Yeah, while he was trying to Jedi mind trick Donovan Mitchell, he Jedi mind tricked himself into thinking he did something correct.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson has actually been balling. He's like sneaky 6th man of the year.
Yeah, I think
not even sneaky.
Yeah.
Hey, I've always been Team Clarkson, man.
And you remember both had like a quarter life crisis, and just got tats at like the age of 30.
There's nothing wrong with a quarter life crisis. Sometimes you gotta, find some new balance.
Like Kawhi.
Yeah.
But now I think they're a legitimate team because they've been around that 4 or 5 seed for the last few years. Donovan Mitchell definitely does not get the respect he deserves as a young player who's actually made an immediate impact in the league. Rookie Donovan Mitchell said, "Hey Russ, nah, bro, go home." He's playing in the playoffs every year. Granted, he got bounced in the first round last year, but that was probably the most entertaining series of the whole fucking playoffs. Him versus Jamal Murray. That's who I should have had on my shocks of the season, which really wasn't a shock to me that Jamal Murray just fell back from grace, because he's a 17 point per game guy, and that's who he is.
Yeah, Jamal Murray is just being Jamal Murray. He went off for like 50 multiple times in the playoffs, and we were like, where has this been? We've been waiting for you to take a leap, but you always just kind of flip-flop in. I want to be great today. I want to be a good player today. I want to be all right. So when he went back to being all right, I was like, well, he was great for a long span, so it makes sense that he's going to be average for a long span of time.
And they're a 7 seed right now. And shout out to Dame having the Blazers at a 5 seed.
Yeah, and they've had some injuries.
Bro, CJ was about to have his coming out party. Him and Jaylen Brown were like, "Oh, y'all are finally going to be all-stars now, huh?"
Yeah.
And then, like always, CJ breaks his foot. As much as I love CJ, he knew what he did to Duke that 1 year.
Yeah, that was
he
tough
did
to
bounce
watch.
him.
And now him and Dame are the best backcourt in the league, and he gets like, it's not even, you can't even argue it. There's no backcourt even close to them. Granted, Steph and Clay are just now Steph and Kelly Oubre, which is not the same thing. But
what about Steph and Wiggins?
No. Dame and CJ head and shoulders above every other backcourt in the league.
Wall and Oladipo.
No.
James Harden and Kyrie, stop it. Stop it.
I just feel like the production that Dame and CJ were giving without having a KD on their team, like it's just different.
All right. Is Luka Doncic overrated?
Yes, because the media talk like he's a great player, but like he does get overhyped. So like short answer, yes. Like,
yeah, I think he's probably like top 5 player in the league for sure. I'd put him in there. Like if someone has him out, if you have him out, but like right on the cusp. Like you don't have him far out. You probably have him just right outside, which is also fine. But everyone's like, this guy's the second coming and is about to be the next best thing. I don't know. Like LeBron, it was clear. With KD, it was pretty clear. And with this kid, it's clear that he's going to be very good for a long time. But I don't know if he's the player that everybody's saying he is going to be.
You know what I think a lot of people have missed on Luka is that he is closer to his ceiling than most players are at his age.
For sure.
He's putting up like 28, 8, and 9. Which are,
right.
You know,
and people and
great
people
stat
think
line.
that can grow to like, and I've heard people say, yeah, you know, by year 5, he might be 35, you know, 12 and 12. And it's like, no, he's been playing pro basketball for so long that he's actually had to refine his skills at an earlier age than a lot of our American basketball players who could survive off athleticism. And now they're in the NBA and they're refining their game and they're finding their stride in year 4 and year 5. And Luka has already found that stride. He's just going to maintain I think he's going to maintain for a very long time. But you look at him right now and what he's doing well, it is really good. Like he controls the game. You know, like the game is always played at his pace, but they're a 13 seed. And you can't be the media darling, the favorite for MVP coming into the season and be a fucking 13 seed. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is either very close to or at his ceiling. But even if he's reached his ceiling, if he keeps where he's at now for another 10, 15 years, like he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be fine. So the fact that I don't know if he has more room for progression like people think he does, he could probably get a more consistent jumper that he's just going to hit regularly. And I know you look at the numbers and it's like he's almost at 30 a game. Like he is scoring, but it's not like give the ball to Luka and let him get a jumper off and we know it's going to go. And he hit that clutch shot against the Clippers, but it's not like Luka's just a dead eye shooter.
No.
And if you think it's coming, it may. But I think even where he's at now for the next 10 to 15 years, like he's going to have a solid career, Hall of Fame career, which is great.
I think my problem with the Luka stuff is that he was given too much too soon. Like, bro, you got bounced in the first round your second season. I got it. You were a 7 seed, but it wasn't like a real 7 seed. Like 3 through 7 in the West was so tight last year that he could have been a 4. He could have been a 5, just a few games here or there. But you're talking about him like his impact on winning is greater than that of a James Harden, a Dame Lillard, guys who have actually carried teams on playoff runs. And granted, they're not champions either, but Dame went to the Western Conference Finals. James has been to the Western Conference Finals. And just to say that, oh yeah, Luka's better than him now. Maybe.
I think in his defense, they're saying he's going to be better than what they are now because when you saw KD, when you saw Russ, when you saw James on those early OKC years, you were like, man, they got it all out ahead of them. Like their careers are going to be great. And then things break one way or another. KD went and won his rings with another team. James Harden got close with the Rockets, but never got there. And now at this point, you're like, I don't know if James Harden is going to get there. If he is, now that he's with the Nets, like it's got to be like these next couple of years or never. With Russ, that window's probably closed. So it's just, you think he's got all this time out ahead of him. And then in a couple of years, it could be like, hey, Luka, like time's ticking, bro.
He also hasn't had like a lot of help either.
One more time, Boynk.
I said he also hasn't had like a lot of help either. Like, you know, he had a banged up KP and Seth Curry as his main running mate. And this year he has Josh Richardson, you know, and Maxi Kleba.
Seth Curry's gone.
They had a high, they had one of the high, they had the highest offensive rating like history last year.
Yeah. I mean, they had like good players, but like a true, I guess, like sidekick for him, which I think is what people, why he gets so much credit is because, you know, he did carry that team at a very early age with like I said, some good role players, like a good team around him, but just like no one else to help shoulder that true offensive load.
What they should do is put together a package for Brad Beal. But speaking of Brad Beal, is Russell Westbrook done?
Yeah.
Is he Allen Iverson in Detroit?
I think so.
You can't play like that. I mean,
the numbers are still great.
Yeah, but your body is literally just gonna, break down on you at some point. Like he's played so hard for so long. Like we all knew this was coming. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, still averaging like damn near a triple-double. And it just doesn't do anything for the team. Yeah. So yes, the numbers are nice. So when he retires, it can be like, man, look at these career stats. But for the team, especially in the East, him and Bradley Beal give that team 55 points a night. He's telling me between the other, let's say they play like 6, 7 other guys a night, y'all can't come up with another 55 points. And it's because just the way Russ plays, like he's going to get his, and it's going to hurt your team more than it's going to help your team.
Should LaMelo Ball have gone first overall in the draft?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't know. Like this, so one thing, like this rookie class is, I don't want to say they're better than I expected. Like I didn't think that there was going to be like a star out of this class. I will say that they're overall they're better. Like guys like Quickly, Halliburton, like some of like the guys that didn't go as high or get as much hype coming out of the draft. Like overall, the class has been a little bit better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I think the media got at the top of this class wrong. I honestly do. I think the players at the top of the draft were actually really good basketball players. We didn't have the normal draft lead up that we do each year because of COVID. We didn't have the NCAA tournament, but it was just different. Anthony Edwards was on a team that just wasn't really good in Georgia. He took a lot of bad shots, but that's what good players do on bad teams. They don't have anything around them. You just develop bad habits, and we've seen that with a lot of players once they get to the league and they're on these bad teams. It's something that Trae Young is struggling with now. What's my man's name? James Wiseman. He only played 2 or 3 college games. We didn't see him, but James Wiseman is good. But he's on a team that's trying to win. So what he is not developed enough yet for what Golden State is trying to do. So yeah, they're gonna slow walk him into it. And Melo Ball, yeah, his shot is unorthodox. He played a non-favorable style of basketball, especially when he was over in Australia. But if you look at the way Lonzo plays, they're cut from the same cloth. They were taught to play by the same person. They know how to play basketball the right way. And when you put that in a structure where it's like, hey, here's your left and your right lateral limits. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can't do. Then it totally changes how they play. But because they weren't just your typical, it wasn't a typical prospect. It wasn't the one and done player who dominated and was on a good team. It was, oh yeah, you were ineligible because Penny Hardaway, who was your coach, also was taking care of you in high school before he was your college coach. Or LaMelo Ball, whose dad gave him a shoe contract, pulled him out of school early and ruined his NCAA eligibility because it was alternative routes that their talents got watered down. And now LaMelo is being what everything pointed at him being as a prospect.
He's a better scorer than I thought he would be.
Yeah. Passing ability has always been there. The rebounding is better than I thought it was going to be also. But yeah, redoing the draft, I would still take Wiseman number 1. Anthony Edwards is like a freak athlete and like the raw skill is there. But I would have taken Wiseman 1, and then I think Halliburton 2, then LaMelo, because we still got to honor Carmelo. But Yeah, I think LaMelo would have been number 3. He's by far the most exciting player to watch from this draft class. Like that kid is fun to watch whenever he's on TV, or if you like go seek him out on League Pass. But he's the most exciting player to watch. But I think the best player in the class is Wiseman.
You said Halliburton, and seeing him and Swiper play together, I think it's helped unlock De'Aaron Fox. But also, imagine if Luka and Swiper would have been playing together right now instead of Marvin Bagley.
Yeah,
they messed that one up.
It's the Kings, though. What do we expect here?
Well, apparently the Kings are what's holding Marvin Bagley down, according to his daddy.
Hold on, one more time.
Apparently the Kings are what's holding down Bagley, according to his daddy. His daddy was like, they need to trade him.
Yeah, his dad doesn't get enough credit for being who he is. Y'all want to shit on LeVar. LeVar's a team player, baby. Is Doc a good coach?
yeah.
I came on here and rip Doc after the playoffs, but he has the process working.
I think everybody was ready to rip him after the playoffs because he underperformed, because he is a good coach.
Yeah.
And I think he underperformed in Boston. Like, I know they won a ring, but I think they should have won.
2010?
No. Not 2010 or 2009, because those were Kobe's years. But
2010, if you hold Kobe to damn near nothing, Kobe was playing damn near playing power forward in Game 7. You're supposed to win that game.
I don't think so. Everybody wants to say it was like, well, Kendrick Perkins wasn't there. And yes, he's a big body, but my man's averaging like 5 points. I'm not trying to hear it. So
Big
that one was a toss-up. I know with Orlando, he had like a 3-1 lead and then lost that one too. So he does this in the playoffs. He is a good coach, but he underperforms, and that's why people are mad with him. Lob City never even got to the finals, which still blows my mind. So he's a good coach because he's gotten teams this far. And then the reason he got ripped last year is because he is such a good coach and he's underperforming. He's not a bad coach by any means. If he was a bad coach, people wouldn't be tripping about him losing all these times in the playoffs like this.
Weren't you a Lob City fan?
No, that was my father. You got the wrong ear, boy. I hated Lob City with a passion. I still hate Lob City with a passion.
What did Lob City do to you? They just won while the Lakers were terrible?
Pretty much.
No,
they started hanging up banners like they did something. Or they hung up like pictures of themselves like they did. Like, this our city. It's like, y'all been good a year.
EB's just off to that Chris Paul, got nixed by the Lakers.
The whole team was just off-brand. Like, they thought they were a lot. Well, they were as good as they thought they were, but they were walking like they had won already. And it was just great watching them lose in the playoffs all them years.
We were talking about Doc. Is Tibbs underrated?
I think he's properly rated.
Yeah, properly. But like I said, I mean, I am very surprised that the Knicks are, even sniffing the playoffs. I mean, he's doing a good job up there with the talent on the roster. You got like Austin Rivers playing like 30 minutes a game, like yeah. So, but I wouldn't say he's like a great coach.
I mean, he got Minnesota in the playoffs.
That team also, they had a lot of pieces and didn't do much with it. So
yeah, they got rid of. Yeah, Jimmy said, "Fuck y'all, I'm out."
Yeah, so I'm supposed to be happy because y'all got to the playoffs and then got bounced in the first round.
Can Stan Van Gundy coach? And I asked that question because, he had the Orlando run. Then he went to Detroit and did nothing. And now he's down in New Orleans and they struggled initially. You got Zion, who can't score outside of the paint, but you want to couple that with Steven Adams. They're currently the 10 seed, but they are on a 4-game winning streak.
I don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't know if it's Stan Van Gundy's fault or if it's management. But like, I'm not sure what they're doing because like the Steven Adams trade just didn't make any sense from a basketball standpoint at all. And then they gave him an extension, right? And they like right after they traded for him, shipped Jay Rue Holiday off, for Bledsoe. So it's like then they have like a bunch of young players that are like up and coming, like Bi,
Lonzo, Josh Hart.
Yeah, and it's like, what are you guys doing?
And JJ Redick and Lonzo are on the trade. They're on the trade block now.
Yeah, hopefully it goes to those contenders.
I don't know what they're doing either. And I like Stan. I thought he was good with the Heat. I thought he was good with Orlando. And the thing with Orlando was funny because, like, I don't think he can coach in today's game, maybe. But he was kind of the one that ushered us into it. Like, if you look at what the 09 Magic were doing, it was like, we're going to space out 4 people. Y'all just rain threes. Dwight collect anything we miss and put it back in. And it was just 4 out, 1 in. And now he's got this team, and it just doesn't work. And it's on him partly to figure out what they're doing because no one knows what's going on. You're going to play Adams and Zion together, which doesn't make sense. And then just a lot of the other moves, they fall on him as the coach.
Can we get Zion and Brandon Ingram to remember how to play defense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, in my opinion, Zion should be like a defensive player of the year candidate just with his athletic ability.
And Bi with his size. I know he's skinny, but on the perimeter, like without his wingspan's what, like 7'3",
something crazy.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hear it.
They should be a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Like they should be a good. It should be a good, fun, young team that, like, they should be what the Blazers were like 4 or 5 years ago. You know, great league pass team. You know, they're probably not gonna get out of the first round, but they may go on a run and beat the 3 seed as a 6 seed. You know, but they're the 10 seed.
Yeah, I didn't like that hire, and I mean, I don't really have anybody else that I can think of off the top of my head that I think should have gotten that job. But I wish that they would have given a younger coach like a chance or something. Because I mean, we've seen what Stan Van.
I thought his brother might have been a better hire than him.
Yeah.
Or what about Mark Jackson? No, that's the answer. The answer is no.
All right, cool.
Mark Jackson loses every opportunity to get a job every time he comments on a game. His commentary is terrible, and it just lets me know that he is stuck in the 1990s with Shaq and the rest of the old heads.
Yeah, I felt really bad when they ousted him from the Warriors, and I was like, this team is on the cusp. And then next year they ended up winning it all and becoming what we know today. And then you peel the onion back, and I was like, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
What happened to him happened to him. And then you listen to him on the broadcast, and it's just like, it really makes sense.
Yeah.
Did I send you that article about him where they talked about like all the different stuff that he did wrong on that job?
I don't know if you sent it to me. I know I read one.
Yeah, I remember reading one.
He like laid hands on Steph and wanted Steph to like run around the church.
Yeah, it was like had Bible study, like, after practice or something.
Man.
And the owner was like, "Hey, you have more. You can get more assistants. Like, we're gonna pay top dollars for assistants." He's like, "Nah, don't need analytics department. I got this."
Yeah, I mean, he was just utilizing Steph completely wrong, and I mean that, like, he fully deserved to lose his job even after winning like 50 plus games.
Yeah. So will Seth Curry, who is currently 50-50-100, do you think he can end the season at 50-50-95 or even 50-50-90?
I think that 3-point shooting is going to drop into the 40s, and then he'll be a 90-something%. I think it'll be high 40s, and then he'll be a 90% free throw shooter.
I want to say he's the NBA career leader in 3-point percentage.
I think that's right. Yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
Best shooter in the family.
No, get out of here.
I mean, that's what the numbers say.
The numbers don't take into account that, like, for one, he's not dribbling into his threes. He's catching them and shooting them. His brother he's pulling from half court some of the time. And then he's also dribbling into the shots, getting a little bit of separation, and then firing. Like, his brother is the best shooter we've all ever seen. I know you don't like him, but that is the truth.
Oh no, I think Steph Curry is the best shooter I've ever seen, and I'm enjoying watching him struggle to be an 8 seed and have great games, but not really be a serious contender because that's what he is.
He's not a serious contender.
His team isn't.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
Does CP3 get the credit he deserves as a winner? Because I know he has not won the big game, but where CP3 goes, winning follows. He won in New Orleans. He went to the Clippers, turned them around. He goes to Houston and almost gets them over the hump, but his hammy, that damn thing. Then he follows that by getting shipped out of town, and OKC was doing Houston a favor by taking on Chris Paul instead of keeping Russell Westbrook. And what happens? He ends up getting them into the playoffs while they were trying to tank and almost beat Houston in the first round. And then now you see him with the Phoenix Suns, and they're a 4 seed right now. And they've gone from a great let's watch Devin Booker try to score 40 and lose by 20 to a serious threat to get to the second round or maybe even the Western Conference Finals.
But your last statement there is like that's what they're going to do. They're going to get to the second round, maybe the Western Conference Finals. And I mean, I think we remember Chris Paul in the playoffs because it seems like he doesn't show up, whether it's like injuries or like it's just like bouncing the second round year after year. I mean, that's kind of what you're going to get from him.
Yeah, in the pivotal moments, he either was hurt or he had that one like major mess up against OKC.
Yeah, when he dribbled the ball like off of
So I think we're all going to remember him as the best point guard we've seen, and like you said, where he goes, winning follows. And the reason they lost to the Warriors, but like they lost to them because he was out for part because they were looking like the winner that year. But it's nice to see what he did in OKC last year. Like, you like him, you want to root for him. You like what he's doing now in Phoenix. But he's going to go down as like a great player. That's it. He didn't win the big game. He never even made it to the finals.
SGA is also really good. Just you talk about him in OKC. I watched him against the Lakers the other day, and I'm like, I like him.
He went off.
So final questions of our 10 questions. Is KD the best third option in NBA history? So here's where this comes from. If you watch Brooklyn play, and full disclosure, I think Kevin Durant is the best player on that team. But you see James is running the point. So just by virtue, he is your one or your two option because the ball is in his hands, and we know what James is capable of. And to his credit, he's leading the league in assists, and he's not been as aggressive as a scorer since coming to Brooklyn. Then you got Kyrie, who since he came back from sabbatical, he has been shooting. He was scoring, but he's looked like the number one on offense. And that's left KD getting less shots than ideal, but he also has the game that is probably the most efficient scoring game we've ever seen. So KD can go get you an easy 25 on 15 shots. He can go get you 30 on 18, 20 shots. So the way their offense has looked so far is looked as if KD is the third option in their offense. And I'm not saying that it's right or it's wrong, but do you think he can be the best third option in NBA history?
Yeah, I mean, he's just not a ball stopper. He doesn't really need to dribble to create separation or to get a shot off because he's 7 feet and he shoots from the top of his head. Like, he can literally rise up whenever he wants to, or take 2 dribbles to get to the lane and kick it out. Whereas like James Harden and Kyrie, like, they will bounce that thing up and down 50 times just for a step back 3. So it's like, I think, and he also has the experience of playing with 2 other stars. Obviously Steph is pretty ball dominant as far as needing to create separation play, not so much, but he just has that experience. So I mean, he's just used to it at this point. So yes, to answer your question, I don't agree that he's the third option though.
Yeah, I'm going to say no because he'll be the best third option when he does become a third option. Because in my mind, the option is like, we need a bucket. Who are we going to first? And you're going to KD first. And then you're going to James Harden. And then you're going to Kyrie. Like, who's bringing the ball up and who's got the ball in their hands the most time? That's just who's getting the most usage. If the Nets need a bucket, we're drawing a play up for KD first, unless James Harden's got 50 points or Kyrie's got 50 points. Any regular game, we're going through James Harden to get this bucket.
But you know Kyrie's going to step in and steal the pass and then take the shot.
And make
that doesn't mean he was the option. That just means he forced it. But KD's the number one option. He's scoring more points than them. Granted, he is more efficient, so he doesn't need as many shots. So just because he's putting less shots up, he's just going to shoot less and make more than them. So he's scoring more points. And period, at the end of the game, if you're down 2 points and you need a bucket, we're giving the ball to KD. He's got two other really good options in case something happens, but you're giving the ball to KD.